Right, listen up, you lot. We've got a right mess on our hands. Wild boar, those hairy blighters, are running amok in our fields, tearing up crops, destroying fences and generally making a nuisance of themselves. It's enough to make a farmer reach for his shotgun. And believe you me, many have. Farmers, you see, they work hard. They sweat and toil to put food on our tables. The last thing they need is a herd of wild pigs, turning their fields into a battlefield. It's a constant struggle, and one that's getting worse. Boar populations are exploding, spreading like wildfire across the countryside. We've seen it on the farm. It's heartbreaking. One day you've got a field full of promising barley. The next it looks like a bomb's gone off. The ground's churned up, crops are gone, and those bloody boars, they're long gone, off to wreak havoc somewhere else. Now, some city folk might think, what's the big deal about a few pigs? Oh, how wrong they are. These aren't your cute little pink piglets. We're talking about wild boar, huge, aggressive creatures with tusks as sharp as razors. They can grow to be over 6 feet long and weigh more than a grown man. Imagine that charging at you in a field. Not so cute now, eh? And the damage they cause? Well, it's enough to make a grown man cry. They gobble up crops like there's no tomorrow, leaving nothing but bare earth in their wake. They trample and destroy anything that gets in their way. Fences, irrigation systems, you name it. It's a farmer's worst nightmare. But it's not just the immediate damage. These blasted boars carry diseases. They can infect livestock, spread parasites, and contaminate water sources. It's a health hazard, plain and simple. So, you see, it's more than just a few veggies they're destroying. It's livelihoods, it's communities, it's the very fabric of our countryside. So, what's a farmer to do? Well, they're fighting back, that's for sure. And they're bringing out the big guns, literally. Rifles, shotguns, crossbows, you name it. Farmers are using whatever means necessary to protect their land and their livelihood. Now, I'm not advocating for unnecessary violence against animals, but sometimes desperate times call for desperate measures. Farmers are at their wits' end. They've tried everything, fences, traps, even those ridiculous sonic repellents. But the boars, they're cunning, they adapt. So they're left with no choice but to resort to more lethal methods. It's not something they enjoy doing, trust me. But they've got families to feed, businesses to run. They're just trying to survive. Section 4. Outsmarting the enemy strategies from the front lines. Now, hunting boar is no walk in the park. These are intelligent creatures and they've learned to avoid danger. That's why farmers have to be smarter, more cunning. They're using a variety of tactics to outsmart their adversary. One common strategy is night hunting. Boars are most active at night, so farmers are taking to the fields under the cover of darkness, using thermal imaging scopes to spot their prey. They're also setting up elaborate traps, baiting them with food and using cameras to monitor their movements. It's a constant game of cat and mouse, but farmers are learning to adapt. They're sharing information, working together, pooling resources. They have to. It's their survival at stake. Section 5. The high cost of victory farming communities under siege. This boar problem, it's taking its toll on farming communities. The financial burden is immense. Crop losses, damaged property, the cost of hunting equipment and permits, it all adds up. And then there's the emotional toll. The stress, the worry, the feeling of helplessness. It weighs heavily on farmers. It's driving some out of the business altogether. They simply can't afford to keep going, and that's a real tragedy. We're losing generations of farming knowledge, of connection to the land. It's a loss we can ill afford. The government needs to step in, provide more support, more resources. We need better control measures, better compensation for losses. Farmers need to know that they're not alone in this fight. Section 6. The future of farming coexisting with wild boars. So, what's the answer? Can farmers and wild boar coexist? It's a tough question, one with no easy answers. We need to find a balance, a way to manage boar populations without resorting to constant warfare. Perhaps it's about exploring alternative methods of control, like contraception or relocation. Perhaps it's about finding ways to make our farms less attractive to boars in the first place. Whatever the solution, one thing is clear: we need to act, and we need to act now. The future of our countryside, of our farmers, depends on it.